recruited mostly from improvisational troupes in a few major cities, got more time on the air. Even before the original cast left, the show itself had become the star, and a new American institution, a kind of keepsake to be handed down from generation to generation, both by the performers who served time in its stock company and by the audience that is perpetually replenished as new legions of viewers come of age. The story of Saturday Night Live is the story of the people who made it work. People there at and before the beginning. People who passed through as if attending some rarefied college of comedic arts. Craftspeople and technicians, as well as actors and comics and musicians. They and the show weathered many a storm along the way. As executive producer for most of its nearly 3 decades, Michaels has had to contend with virtually every sin the flesh is heir to among his cast members, as well as with his own fallibilities. He was a father figure even at the beginning, when he was only a wee bit older than the rest of them, and that continues now that he is twice the age of many of those who work for him, and plays host to surviving members of the original cast who bring teenage sons and daughters to see the show in person. He watched as 2 of his brightest comedy stars died of drug abuse, saw others come perilously close, and has had to deal with the grimness of a disproportionately high mortality rate overall. There have been cast members who drank too much, snorted coke too much, freebased too much, God knows what else too much. Talent may itself be a form of neurosis. It usually comes with troubles attached. To those who work on the show, success and failure become close to matters of life and death. It's all there in the argot. A good joke kills, while a bad sketch dies. Having an audience crushed by material is devoutly to be wished. Many a sketch will kill at dress, meaning get big laughs at the dress rehearsal staged in front of a separate audience a few hours before the real show, only to die on air when it's the show for real. The show made stars of unknowns and superstars of stars. There were also those who entered anonymous and left the same way. Some were made famous. Some were made bitter. Some were made rich. Some found nirvana, and others a living hell. They never really knew, going through those portals, how or if they would be changed as a result. But they virtually all had one thing in common, even if they had joined the show simply because they needed work and liked to eat. It was much more than a job. They were the chosen because it was the chosen. They could look down on people working even in the most successful primetime sitcoms or dramas because Saturday Night Live was something entirely unto itself, a towering edifice on the landscape, a place of wonder and magic, a socio-political phenomenon. With the arrival of SNL, the TV generation, at least for 90 minutes a week, could see television not just as a window on the past or a display case for the fading fantasy figures of their fathers and mothers, but as a mirror. A warped funhouse mirror, perhaps, but a mirror just the same, one reflecting their own sensibilities, values, and philosophies. Television, which had shown them the world, had heretofore neglected to show them themselves. This program tells the Saturday Night Live story for the first time, almost entirely in the words of the people who made it and lived it, the performers who found glory or agony there, the writers and producers who stayed for decades or only a year or two, and many stars who served as hosts. Elated or disgruntled, they talk with abandon and candor and represent a wide array of views about the show, what makes it tick, whether indeed it still does tick, how it has lasted, and whether Lorne Michaels is a comedy genius or a cunning conman. Although Saturday Night Live spans 4 decades, some of the newness and even the nihilism of the early years survives and bursts forth every week. New talent is always coming in and shaking things up. To them, Studio 8H is not a hallowed hall because Arturo Toscanini once conducted the NBC orchestra there. In fact, the studio was built for him. But because John Belushi, Gilda Radner, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Lorraine Newman, Bill Murray, and Garrett Morris reinvented television there. Because the place echoes with the inspired hilarity of Belushi's Mad Samurai, Aykroyd's fusty male prostitute, Radner's loopy Loopner, Chase's stumble-bumbling Gerald Ford, Murray's capricious Oscar picker, Morris's shouted headlines for the hearing impaired, Newman's curiously sexy portrayal of young Connie Conehead, teenager from outer space. People always point to those.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.